Recently, a viral statement claimed that T-Rex and other dinosaur fossils were man-made and that dinosaurs never existed. The person making this claim also believed that natural resources like gold and oil are inexhaustible, like water.
Preserved.
This video received a mixed response from netizens, but the statement was particularly unwelcome to researchers who have dedicated their lives to studying dinosaurs, such as Nazar Ibrahim, who is highly dedicated to researching the Spinosaurus. Therefore, in this video, we will discuss the truth about dinosaurs, the accuracy of the statement that dinosaurs never existed, and the misconception that researchers ever claimed that natural resources, especially oil, came from dinosaur fossils. A paleontologist is a person who studies ancient life, including extinct organisms, and relies heavily on fossils to understand them. A fossil is the remains of a living creature that has turned to stone over millions of years. Fossils form when an organism dies and is quickly buried by sediment before its hardest parts, such as bones or shells, have a chance to decay. Over time, these sediments accumulate, and the pressure from the layers above causes them to harden into rock. This is why ancient animal fossils are actually very difficult and rare to find, as many specific conditions must be met for the process to occur. Imagine you are a dinosaur living millions of years ago. You live and roam in fertile lands, eating plants and interacting with your peers until one day you die, whether from a predator, disease, or even being hit by a rock during a fight with another dinosaur. At this stage, your body doesn't immediately decay and disappear as we might think. The environment around your body plays a crucial role in fossil formation. For example, if you are buried in very soft mud, your body will be covered and protected from damage. After millions of years, the mud will harden into rock, leaving your body's shape behind as a fossil. However, if the fossil is relatively young, it may be found in a more complete state, as was the case with a 12,000-year-old mammoth fossil found in Michigan, USA. In a different scenario, if you are buried in very cold conditions like snow and ice, your body will be preserved from the process of decomposition. Such environments can preserve soft body tissues like skin and fur very well, even after thousands of years. The most famous example of a fossil formed through this preservation process is a 39,000-year-old woolly mammoth found trapped in ice in Siberia. In 1908, in Montana, USA, paleontologists successfully discovered a large fossil of a sharp-toothed carnivorous dinosaur, which was later named Tyrannosaurus rex. The fossil consisted of a skull, a large part of the tail, ribs, and a large part of the spine. The missing body parts, as we see them today, are the result of human reconstruction. So how did researchers complete the missing parts of the T-Rex fossil? Assembling a dinosaur skeleton in the early 1900s was not an easy task. Researchers had to make estimates based on the knowledge and technology available at the time. The first step was to ensure that the bones found were placed in the correct positions according to their original anatomy. They could determine this anatomy by studying modern animals as a reference, as living things tend to have similarities to one another. Dr. Mark Norell, the head of the Paleontology division at the American Museum of Natural History, explained that T-Rex has many similarities to modern animals like chickens. This does not mean that T-Rex evolved into a chicken, but rather that they have anatomical similarities. For example, when looking at its feet, T-Rex had 3 main toes, all pointing forward. It also had an S-shaped neck and a spine that was parallel to the ground when it walked. For the T-Rex fossil found in 1908, both hind legs and both forearms were missing. However, by studying the skeletons of other dinosaurs that had been found, it was discovered that T-Rex had a close relationship with other large theropods like Allosaurus, whose fossils were found in a much more complete state than the T-Rex at that time. An artist was then asked to manually create the missing parts by sculpting them using the Allosaurus skeleton as a reference. Years later, as more T-Rex fossils were found, the missing parts were replaced with real T-Rex bones. The results showed that the feet and hands of T-Rex were indeed similar to those of Allosaurus, confirming that the initial approach taken by researchers in reconstructing ancient animal fossils was quite accurate. Even so, there are times when researchers make mistakes in the process, as happened with the reconstruction of the sauropod dinosaur fossil named Apatosaurus. It was a long-necked dinosaur, but for a long time, it was known by another name, Brontosaurus. When researchers first found the Apatosaurus fossil, its skull was missing, so they had to reconstruct it. However, in practice, the reconstruction was based on a false assumption. Dr. Norell explained that researchers made the Apatosaurus skull resemble the high-domed skull of a Camarasaurus. This mistake was finally corrected in the 1970s when a more accurate skull was found and attached, and the name Brontosaurus was changed back to Apatosaurus. Although we have not found a 100% complete T-Rex fossil, paleontologists have successfully found 46 T-Rex fossils as of 2019. By combining all of these fossil finds, we can know what the T-Rex actually looked like. This is further supported by the discovery of a T-Rex fossil named Sue, which is 90% complete. This fossil was found by Sue Hendrickson in 1990 on a rancher's land and took 17 days to excavate because of its immense size. The fossil was then purchased by the Field Museum for $8.6 million in 1997. After the purchase, Associated Paleontologists separated the rock matrix using special tools like a mini pneumatic hammer to break the rock without damaging the fossil. Researchers also cleaned the bones using tools similar to those of a dentist. After 2 years, researchers successfully lifted about 90% of Sue's fossil bones and removed the rock and other materials from the fossil. The hard work of these researchers may be able to refute the statement that T-Rex and dinosaurs do not exist. From our explanation, it can be concluded that dinosaurs did indeed exist, as proven by their fossilized remains. However, what is widely misunderstood by most people, including the person in the video, is the belief that crude oil comes from dinosaurs. In fact, this is just a myth. Crude oil is essentially derived from the remains of marine organisms that lived millions of years ago, even before the age of dinosaurs, such as algae, zooplankton, and diatoms. The number of dinosaur fossils found is also not enough to explain or contribute to the world's oil deposits. If dinosaurs played a role in this process, then why has Indonesia, which is rich in crude oil, never had a single dinosaur fossil found to date? Instead, what has been found are fossils of ancient marine animals like the megalodon, which supports the theory that Indonesia was once a vast ocean before it formed into an archipelago. Therefore, the statement in the video is very inaccurate and incorrect. For more in-depth discussions on ancient life and the fascinating world of paleontology, be sure to check out our YouTube channel, Paleo Insights, and subscribe for more content that unearths the truth about our prehistoric past.